just the printed out version?
Well, actually, we're not going to get to that yet. They're just going to, okay, this is Oldecam.
And this is Not a Spring Chick, and a lot of you are probably wondering, how do we end up doing our comments on the headlines of today?
And we're going to do a complete run through to show you how it would be done if you were, if you were standing right here with us, or actually behind the camera. So, what's going to happen is, well, generally when she does her opening, I'm standing off to the side of the camera. Depending upon what the weather is like, I have something for her to put on to cover up with, or like today I just will be holding, like the things she's going to be working from. But I'm going to step off, she's going to introduce, I will step on, and then she's going to step to the side like she generally is, except this time you're going to see her.
You're going to see me in the frame doing it.
You're going to see the frame, which makes it, because people continually ask us, how in the world do you actually do that? I mean, you do a script? No, we don't have a script for anything. We have things that, okay, if we're,
well, see,
we
part of
do it from the newspaper, or we'll have something we've jotted down from a newspaper, from the internet, our TV to work from, or we have the computer.
And from our sources.
That's
through,
right.
Through the internet, people that email us.
Yeah.
So we actually have a lot of different variety of sources, and we take news that we believe is of international interest.
Yeah.
That represents the United States.
Right. But all of this we're doing is what actually goes. See, that 10 minutes that you see sometimes is like 30 minutes to do. But it's not. The only cuts we make is the changeovers and the beginning.
And then is what we try to do. Although I'll say that if we're at the beach or if we're somewhere in public, like if we're at the canals, people come by,
then we
stop.
Those, okay.
Or if there's an airplane flying over.
Then we'll stop for the air. If the noise is excessive or we have people, we have to stop when we're out.
Yeah.
But other than that, if we're in an enclosed situation like this, the only cuts are made is when we're getting, we set things up before the shots are actually done. You're going to get to see everything getting set up this time, which is totally different than before. You're going to get, as I'm sitting there getting my hair all ready, or somebody tells me to pop the ear thing out of my ear. But that's, you're going to get to see it. So I'm going to step off, and then Not a Spring Chick is going to do her standard opening.
Okay, let's see. What's the hot news for today?
Oh, Obama says that nothing is for free. You're going to have to pay for all of the goodies that he's giving you now.
Okay. Hello, this is Not a Spring Chick, and I know that a lot of you voted for Obama because you were expecting, okay, I know we all love those freebies. Oh wait, do you remember that comment? Nothing in life is free? Okay, it could be close to that because if you go to the 99-cent store, well, okay, that's not exactly free. Okay, well there is much more news to cover, and of course, we're crossing our fingers. Yeah, and I guess we do realize healthcare is not for free, nor those government handouts, especially if you're not the one getting them. So for now, we're going to bring Oldecam on for comments on the headlines of today.
And then I get...
So you see, when I'm sitting there doing that, it's all really coming out of my head, because you saw what Oldecam told me before.
Yeah, and then what we do is we do our change off of everything then, and I come over and I give her, she's got a wrap, I give her the wrap, I give her the items that we're working from, and then I get my props, which are very simple, and then...
Well, sometimes if we're indoors, then we do have, of course, the television, and so...
Yeah, we'll do it from the TV, too. We'll do it. We don't do it just from one channel. We'll go for the financial channels. I mean, honest, if this was a weekday, we'd have the financial channels on right now.
Yeah, and so one of the things that we do is we do have some notes that are scribbled down on here, and he does have to remember the Monty Bubble.
Yeah, well, the Monty Bubble is, okay, like today, which is sort of funny, if all you do is surround yourself with those that agree with you, you will never be told what you have done is wrong. That's the Monty Bubble today. It's not going to probably come out that way, because I don't, by the time we get down, I tend to change things.
That's right, because it's kind of, well, specific to what's going on, and part of it is you don't memorize it.
I don't. I have no idea what's coming at me when she asks these things.
Well, because part of it is that even though we've got notes that are written down,
yeah,
I change the order,
yeah.
I add things that I've seen.
And sometimes she'll say something that basically will be repeated in the same thing, because it's not, you know, it really isn't set in stone what we're doing. So sometimes the very same question is done in two different manners. So.
Well, yeah, and sometimes you see and you're like, well, you've already said that. Well, part of it is since it's
coming from a conglomeration of sources. It's just not this. It's just not the computer. It's just not notes. If you're looking, okay, if you say you said something earlier in the news piece, and then you're going to the newspaper, you might hit that headline on the newspaper or the TV set.
Oh, that's true, because sometimes they do. And a lot of times, if we're at home here in Southern California, our reference is the Los Angeles Times.
Yeah, if we're in Las Vegas, it's the Las Vegas newspapers. It
could actually USA Today.
Or it could be a trade paper.
Or the Wall Street Journal.
Yep.
So a lot of it depends on where we are and what resources we have.
Yeah, if we're at a place that they give you a paper in the morning, we will work the paper in the morning. So, and
the headlines from earlier that night, because we pay attention to also, because here's the situation with the newspaper is the newspaper was current as when it was printed.
Yeah, the television is current
when it was taped.
When it was taped, the internet is continually current. That's our difference. So you might get something. You know, for instance, sometimes we have breaking news things, because if we're sitting there watching the screens off to the side, we'll see something happen, and then we change directions of what we're doing.
So here's the tricky part, is that when we're covering, and we're doing the Oldecam and the comments and the headlines of today, Oldecam doesn't always know what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And it's not just because from which source. He doesn't know because, well, sometimes it's off the TV or sometimes I brought it in. So he's working off of his base of knowledge.
Yeah, I watch, okay, I continually sit and, you know, because my job as an editor is I sit and I watch everything, I read everything, I stick everything in my head, and I have a photographic memory. Photographic memories are not like what people think it is. You have to jog that specific thing. So sometimes I'll simply might be a beat behind. It's not because I'm old, which I am, but in the morning I tend to be sharper than the night. But sometimes I have to dig into the head and figure out what is really going on.
Well, and sometimes when we say that we have notes, because Oldecam, we have people preparing the notes from headlines from a variety of sources.
Because we grab them. Like here is, for instance,
these are national and international
This is just
sources.
2 pages of notes that are jotted down for us to work with. Like I said, I already read the Monty Bubbleisms. I actually write all myself, but I may not use the Monty Bubbleism that I've written. I might, because of what I've been hearing from the questions, the headline she's asking. Sometimes I change them.
So I'll give you an example. This is Saturday, July 11th, 2009. This is a newspaper for the LA Times.
Yeah, we'll pretend that she's standing off camera right now. She'll ask me just one to show you, which I haven't looked at the newspaper, so just hit me with something that they've done.
I may even make some up that aren't even in here.
Oh, of course, that's what they do with the news today.
But they do that anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to show you this one right here. Yeah, Reborn, GM vows a new era.
The problem is they haven't made a profit in a decade. The only money they've been making is from GMAC financing, which they no longer own. So therefore, it is impossible for them to guarantee that they're going to make a profit now and be out of bankruptcy in public hands within 12 months.
Yeah, an end of the road for many lawsuits.
Well, yeah, that has to do with GM and Chrysler have illegally buried all the litigation against the companies that they said would unduly weigh these people down with debts that they can't pay. Well, the problem is, what about the people that were injured? Mm-hmm. The President and Congress basically could care less about the people. It's all about people don't believe it.
You don't shed your liability.
You don't shed the liabilities. You still got to pay it
off.
off.
GM is trying to do
you shed the amounts you're paying, but you don't shed the liabilities. It's just we're going to use an example. They're talking right now about Michael Jackson's estate being hit with maybe $75 million in taxes. No, that's why you have a trust fund.
That's right.
Trust funds keep that happening. But see, this is how we would do things from the newspaper. So actually now we're going to go to how it works with me getting ready to actually do Oldecam and Notaspringchick. She's going to be standing. She's going to basically, you're going to see her swing around and come in on the other side.
On the other side? Okay, I'm going to go this way.
Yeah. So this is what she would be.
They already know.
She would be off camera.